Availability is the ability for the cloud service provider to provide their cloud services to the customer. This is also synonymous with uptime when it comes to cloud computing. And uptime is the amount of time per year that a cloud service provider can offer their services, or the amount of time per year that they are offline. So it's measured in the amount of time offline because it makes more sense to measure offline time than online time, because online time is much greater. So it's easier to say, oh, we're only offline for X number of minutes per year, as opposed to saying, oh, we're online for 364 days, 23 hours, and 45 minutes per year. That's not as easy to say. So uptime is measured as a percentage, which is calculated based on usually the number of minutes a cloud service provider is down per year. So with the percentage, you would have usually 99%, and then a fraction of a percentage after or a series of decimal points after that. So 99.999 would be known as 5 nines, because you would have 5 individual 9 characters here. You'd have 99 and then 0.999. And then you'd have like 4 nines, 2 nines, etc., etc. Well, not 2 nines. That would be pretty bad. So uptime is measured by that percentage, and for example, 5 nines is characterized by a downtime per year of 5.26 minutes per year. Okay, so that's the only amount of time that the cloud service provider is down per year. Availability is affected by the resiliency of the CSP and for the ability of the CSP to respond to outages, natural disasters, disruptive events. So the level of uptime that a CSP is able to offer affects the price and affects how much a CSP can charge for its services. So organizations should choose their CSP based on their business needs and what uptime requirements the organization needs versus cost. If the organization requires a high availability, they're going to have to pay a premium for that. If availability is not a great concern for the customer, then the customer can purchase perhaps a lower uptime, which will come with a lower cost. Most CSPs strive to obtain a high availability or an availability that fits their business model. Some organization or some CSPs might choose to maintain a lower availability but choose to charge a cheaper price. Or they might maintain various levels of availability, and they might have different levels of resiliency for different cloud offerings. So resiliency is how resistant a CSP is to disruptions, to downtime. Okay? Resiliency is factored directly into that availability and that uptime percentage. Redundancy is used to influence resiliency. So server clusters, which are multiple servers that will kick in if one server goes down. Uninterrupted power supplies, or UPS, which are inline power units that kick on as soon as power goes out and give time for a data center to respond and to bring online backup generators or backup power. Job rotation is many different personnel management techniques that can help improve resiliency, and all of these techniques can influence availability, and they're all used together to pump that availability number up. Security involves a lot of what we're doing with being CCSPs, and this is involving the protections of the data, the hardware, and the facility. As a CCSP, you're going to need to know and understand all of the concepts available in cloud computing, but primarily your focus will most likely be with the security portion. That's configuring the networks correctly, and ensuring that encryption is placed on data, ensuring that remote dial-in procedures, virtual private networks are set up correctly, and that aspect falls under the purview of security. Security is also responsibility of the cloud customer. Ultimately, the customer is responsible for what happens to their data, regardless of the CSP and what they do. For example, if you look at laws like the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA. HIPAA will hold the cloud customer responsible for data breaches or for inadvertent disclosures of health information. They won't hold the cloud service provider responsible. They'll hold the cloud customer because it's the cloud customer's ultimate responsibility. 3 types of controls: physical, technical, and administrative controls are used to provide security, and that's what we're going to be focusing on with the security portion of the course. Performance is a measurement of how fast computations can occur. This is measured usually by CPU speed, and it can be a requirement for different types of cloud customers who usually, when it comes to an infrastructure as a service environment, sometimes with a platform as services environment as well. Different organizations may require higher processing speeds for their sandbox environments, for the servers that they're purchasing, or the server time they're purchasing with the cloud service providers, just because of the nature of their business needs. So for example, a graphic design firm, or maybe a firm that processes videos, might need to purchase a higher processor capability to enable the types of data transfers and computations that they require, like video rendering on those devices. Benchmarks are used to measure device performance, and benchmarks may be offered as a show or a proof of performance to a cloud customer when the cloud service is being negotiated. Performance does not affect availability, but some customers, like I said, might require high performance in their applications or in the devices and the hardware that they're purchasing.